Hey folks, we're back on the road again, the boss and I,
Hey.
and we're kind of in the northwest, heading south on what's called the Tarkine Loop. This is a loop that we drove last time or some time back, but we didn't complete the loop, so we're pretty excited to get the whole thing done today. We're starting here at Dip Falls. We're about to get out of the car and go and find the falls and take some video and some photographs down there. And then we're going to head to the arch, which is absolutely glorious. And then we're going to get to what they call the edge of the world, which is we didn't make last time. So I'm looking forward to seeing it today. Trowutta Arch, that's the one we're going to get to shortly. It's a superb walk. We'll show you that one as well. Anyway, in for an exciting day. Not quite as sunny as we had the other day, though there's some predicted sun coming. So hopefully we'll get to see the sky and a beautiful day. But right now, let's go and check out Dip Falls. Well, we can't be far away from the falls because we can hear them already as we're sort of making our way down the pathway here. So, but I noticed that there's this is, I guess, the high end of the falls, and it looks like there's going to be a walkway that takes us down the bottom. So we'll probably check out both. Once again, nice little viewing platform they've set up for us here. Oh yes, we can see the walkway on the other side there. So we'll venture down there shortly. Oh, listen to those falls. Amazing. Well, that's pretty spectacular, I've got to say. So one of the things that makes these falls quite unique is that you'll see, if I zoom in here closely, they're on these kind of tessellated rocks, these amazing columns of rock that are formed literally millions of years ago, and you can see those shapes, those kind of hexagonal kind of shapes from these incredible columns that the falls are covering. Quite spectacular. All right, so that's the top of the falls, and they really are spectacular from there, but I'm going to go down the bottom and check it out. I've got to go down and see what looking up the falls is like. So we crossed the bridge, and I'm going to make my way down to the very bottom of the falls. See what we can find down there. Once again, very well established walkways here, these elevated platforms with handrails and so forth. Thank goodness. Makes the journey a lot easier. And I notice a park bench here, which probably is a great resting spot on the way back up this climb. Looking back at the platform that we were just at, and then across the falls, kind of as we make our way down. Another spectacular view of these falls, and you get more of a sense of those incredible rocks that are built up here. All right, we're probably 2/3 of the way down now. This bushland is just beautiful. These ferns, like so much of Tassie, absolutely gorgeous. And then the sound, you can hear the falls so beautifully. And of course I'm trying not to think about the fact that every one of these steps that I'm taking down here is going to be a step back up. It's going to be quite the journey back up to the top again once I get down here. But anyway, here we are approaching the bottom. And the first viewing platform here. Look at that. Look at that view back up to the top. All right, I've made it as far as I can make it. This is the very last platform that we've got here. I'm going to kind of spin you around and give you a look fully at the falls themselves. Again, those incredible rock formations that comprise the falls, and then I'll swing around and give you a look down the river. Again, it's just magnificent. What an incredible spot. This place is absolutely gorgeous. But now, the journey back begins. I'm going to start heading back up. I believe the boss is preparing some morning tea for us, so looking forward to that. I'll see you at the top. All right, I made it back to the top, and I have to admit, I did pause for a bit to get my breath back. It's a hell of a hike. But anyway, the boss has told me there's a path down here that gives you a pretty good view at the top. So let's take a look. It's a bit on the slippery side. Not the nice path I was just walking on by any stretch of imagination, but it does appear to lead out to a pretty good viewing area at the top of the falls. Ah, yes indeed, that's a pretty spectacular view right there at the very top. Again, walking with caution because it's quite slippery. Yeah, what a great view. Those Dip Falls, I hope you really enjoyed that. We did. We thought we'd been here before, but we certainly have not. We wouldn't have forgotten a place like this. It is definitely on our list to bring any visitors we have here to Dip Falls. We're now going to go and find the arch, and again, we have been there before, and I can tell you that the walk in and the end are both wonderful. So looking forward to showing them off to you. See you shortly at the arch. All right, so despite me saying the next stop was going to be Trowutta Arch, we've actually pulled up to check out the big tree. The big tree apparently is a stringy bark with a girth of about 17 meters, so basically the size of a small house. It's a very big and old tree. Let's go and check it out. Now, I'm normally very, very careful to stay on the paths, and I will continue to be that way. I want to make sure that I do my best to protect the environment. But I had to step off the path briefly just to take a look at this amazing set of fungus that's just growing off this tree here. It's incredible structure. Look at that. That was completely unexpected. These things that happen when you're traveling. We just bumped into a couple who are traveling from the mainland, and he's from Taree, which is the town that I was born in. So we've just been reminiscing about Taree and all the sights there. The people you meet here in the bush in Tassie. But more importantly, it's taking some of the scenery. Again, this gorgeous forest of these umbrella ferns, just spectacular. And the weather may not be great, well, certainly not as sunny as we had the other day, but this weather brings out the awesome greens in the trees and the moss and everything else. Makes everything so much more beautiful. Speaking of moss, look at the colour of the moss on this tree trunk that's fallen here. Goodness knows how long ago this tree came down, but the growth here is just beautiful. And then here we are, I believe, at the big tree. It certainly is. In fairness, there's quite a few big trees around us here, so I'm not even sure I'm looking at the right one. That's the rest of that trunk that I was just talking about. It's huge, sort of vanishes off into the distance. That is one tall tree. Well, in fact, I wasn't looking at the right tree. We have now found the big tree, and this is the big tree. And it is quite magnificent in terms of its height and its girth. So as we said, you could have a modest home just based on the base of this tree. Now, it's not in the greatest of condition. If I swing around this way a little bit beyond the sign here, you'll get a sense of the state of the trunk of the tree. You'll see there's a gaping hole down here. So I can't help wondering how long this tree is going to stay in the upright position. Who knows? Certainly looks like it's got some damage to it. But it is truly beautiful. So according to the information here, it is a brown top stringy bark, and it's probably about 400 years old. So not as old as the hoon pines that we saw when we were down in Strahan, but certainly a good lifespan, no question about it. They typically reach their maximum height at age 150 years. I guess they just continue to sustain themselves after that. This tree in particular is 62 meters tall, so it's not small. But apparently that height's not exceptional for this tree either. That's very common for trees of this type to be of a similar height. When we saw that, we looked at the other trees just a moment ago. All right, with that little diversion behind us, now we're going to make our way to the Trowutta Arch, and we'll see you there. Well, after a little bit of a divergence, we've arrived at the Trowutta Arch, and we've got about a 15-minute walk in through this gorgeous, gorgeous forest here. I'm sure the video just doesn't do justice to what a spectacular place this is, but hopefully you're getting some sense of it. It's just wonderful to see the life here, and also to see how the forest constantly kind of regenerates itself as trees fall down and they start to, become a platform for new growth and new life. The colors here are just spectacular, and it's really a gorgeous place. And they've done such a tremendous job in how they've set up the pathways to respect the plants that are here and keep us off, to protect the environment. As I say, the feature here is the arch, which we'll get to shortly, but the journey to the arch is something very special that we look forward to every time we come here. It's, you can see how protected from the sun this area is. There's a wonderful, kind of canopy protecting it here and maintaining this very moist environment, which allows this absolutely beautiful moss to grow throughout the environment. And the level of green around you here is quite special, actually. As we get closer to the arch, we get sort of making our way down. The trail does drop off. There are some steps that take us down. We'll continue our journey down towards the arch through this environment. Path, as well as before, is very well maintained. There are some steps, but they're well marked and pretty easy to navigate. But again, we will have to walk up these steps again as well. These umbrella ferns above us provide the most incredible canopy, letting in the light, very filtered green light and so forth. And then more steps as we continue the journey down towards the arch. And there it is, the Trowutta Arch. And then a body of very, very, very green water at the bottom. Now, according to the information that's provided here, this formation was created because as the rainwater comes down, it basically becomes acidic, and it starts to eat away at some of the rocks. And ultimately that causes erosion, and then a landfall, and that kind of creates that cavern that you see there, that gap that exists there. At the same time, there were two sinkholes, basically one on either side, and one of those is the one that's full of water right now. So it's a very natural formation. It's not unusual at all for this to happen in this sort of environment, but this one is pretty special. At some point, this will collapse completely, but probably not in our lifetime. This will be here for a very long time, and will continue to be a great place to come and visit. So that's the Trowutta Arch, and glad I had a chance to show it to you. Now we'll head back and move to our next location on this drive, this loop. We're just going to stop here for a bite of lunch. We're at the Julius River rainforest, and we'll go for a walk later on. It's another spectacular walk. But I just want to show you the facilities here for the public. Just amazing. There's the boss setting up lunch. Hi, boss. But look at this, two perfectly maintained barbecues, free of charge and available. There's bathroom just up the top. It's very, very well maintained. And we're right here basically on the edge of this beautiful rainforest with just great facilities available free of charge. It's awesome. Okay, so we're heading off on the rainforest walk. There's actually two walks here. There's a rainforest walk, about a half-hour walk along this elevated walkway around the river, and we'll follow that along. There's a second walk, which is a sinkhole walk. Takes about an hour, apparently. That's on our list to do next time we come here. Anyway, this is just a gorgeous little area. I'll swing around the other side as well so you can see what's the river coming down. Just the sound of that water is so incredibly soothing. Now the path does continue on without the elevated walkway, and that makes up the loop. We're actually probably not going to follow the path up today just because of time constraints. But that's a little bit of a sample of the Julius River Rainforest Walk. Another spectacular spot on the Tarkine Drive, or the Tarkine Loop. As I mentioned before, we're on our way to a place called the Edge of the World. But we've just arrived at the west coast, the northwest coast of Tasmania, and I had to stop and show you this little spot. This is a place called Couta Rocks. Let me swing my camera around. This is such a rugged and gorgeous part of the coastline here. I just had to show you, give you a little peek at this. Last time I was here, the wind was galing, the surf was really wild and so forth. Today it's fairly placid. We're still on the rugged side and just so picturesque. Such a beautiful spot. Couta rocks. Anyway, we will continue to the edge. Okay, so we reached the edge of the world, and this is it. I'm going to swing my camera around a minute, give you a good look at it. It's spectacular. The reason it's called the edge of the world is because if you look this way behind me, if you traveled basically as far as you can go, 20,000 kilometers roughly, you'd hit Argentina. There's literally nothing between this point here and Argentina. So we're really quite literally on the edge of this part of the world. But let me give you a look at this place. It's absolutely gorgeous. And once again, I'm going to do the full rotation so you get a good sense of it. And we're being absolutely spoiled today. That sky is just magical, and then that view out there across those rocks. I'm going to zoom in a little bit on that set of rocks out there in the water, just because it's beautiful. It's just such a fantastic view. Anyway, this is it. It's the edge of the world. It's also pretty much the end of our trip today, I suspect. The boss and I are about to have a cuppa and just sit here for a while and enjoy the view. And with that, I hope wherever you are, whatever you're doing, you're living your best life and having a ball. See you soon.